Hey everybody, this is your host, David Rees, with a special little bonus episode. These little bonus episodes typically happen when I finish a game or something happens that I want to talk about. And we, on April 2nd, had the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. We had our big reveal of what the next Nintendo system looks like and what the future of Zelda may hold. Then I have some other things, some other movies I've seen recently, and follow-up of some of the Nintendo Switch 2 drama that we'll just talk about today. Try to have a minimally edited, just kind of a raw episode for these bonus episodes, not going plot by plot for a movie or anything. This is just going to be the notes I took while I was watching the Nintendo Direct, and I kind of sat with it to make sure nothing too drastic changed. And we'll just jump right in. Like I said, Wednesday, April 2nd, the Nintendo had their Nintendo Direct featuring the Switch 2, which lasted a full hour. It was a full 60-minute reveal. This is my first time as an adult where Nintendo has released a full system. I guess I was in college for the Switch when that came out, but this is a little different in the sense where this is the first time I'm financially independent and able to afford Nintendo stuff myself. They open off the Direct with their big slugger, the big launch day title, the one we were kind of alluded to during the teaser trailer 2 months ago in February. And that's going to be Mario Kart World. We're looking at what if Mario Kart said hi to Breath of the Wild? What if we had this massive map that you Mario Kart in and you can explore and zip around and create your own circuits. So instead of doing 3 laps on a track, a cup or a Grand Prix would be like the combination of 3 different segment lengths. And I'm curious, they didn't really talk about it, but I'm curious how the segment lengths work going in both directions, whether you're going north to south or south to north. Does the track vary that way, and how so? How is the track designed? But yeah, the first 10 minutes of the Direct are focused on Mario Kart World, all the different playable characters. They're not making it Nintendo Kart. I know the last Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was creeping that edge in the sense of including language, including other Nintendo properties. You could play as Link. You could play as the Animal Crossing villager, Isabelle. Who else could you play as? You could play as me. There's other characters I'm blanking on. But those are the big ones that stick out. And it looks like here they're looking to keep it strictly Mario World-esque, as in, yeah, you'll be able to race as a cow on a scooter, which is probably the best, one of the big images that took the internet by storm. If you haven't seen it already, our little scooter riding bovine. But there's Toad Yoshi's, a bunch of different Mario characters that you'll be able to play as. And it looks like they're not doing the three option build a cart anymore. It looks like they just are going back to the here's cart A, cart B, cart C, and so on. They're not going to have it so you mix and match your tires, gliders, and car, which is kind of surprising to me, because I thought with them including it in the Mario movie that way, that they would have kept that functionality for their next Mario Kart. I wonder if there was pushback on that, or these courses aren't really designed for the gliders. I guess that was a big part of Mario Kart 8, all the jumps and stuff where you can glide around, all the flying around you can do. So maybe if they removed the glider mechanic and just had the wheels in the car. That's only 2 things to play with. I'm curious what other features this game is going to have upon release. And then they kind of segue into what that mysterious C button is on the new controller. It is the game chat button, which is going to be Nintendo's attempt at doing game chat. I guess that's what they're calling it. It's really just voice chat and video chat if you buy a camera. Kind of like what PlayStation and Xbox already have. So Nintendo's a little late to the game. They're implementing it on this new hardware. The specs on this hardware must be pretty good in order to be supporting internet connections where you're live streaming voice and audio and gameplay even. They have all these features where you can insert your face or your body in front of your head and like live stream and talk to your friends on the bottom of the screen, which is interesting. I guess there's some bias for me. I'm not one to really be social when I play my games. I don't really do too many online games interacting with people. I'm more of the single player RPG, which is what Zelda is. There's not really a multiplayer Zelda game you play. And even if they tried, I don't think that would even work. They've probably thought of it, but they probably haven't thought of a good way to implement it, which is fine by me, I guess. That's not my cup of tea. It would be like maybe like a Hyrule Warriors kind of multiplayer. We also got introduced to a new feature on the Switch, which has a lot of rules and caveats with it. It's not as cut and dry as you would think. It's essentially getting at the old novelty of when you had physical game media, you could share it with your friends or family. You can, or even resell it. You could buy a physical game, play it, decide you're done with it for whatever reason, and then return it to GameStop. Or not return it, but sell it back to GameStop at a loss. And Nintendo decided with the digital games, what if you could game share digital games? And they put so many rules and guardrails on this that it's really for people within a family on like the same, it's got to be on the same Nintendo family account. You got to be on the same local network, or you got to be local. The proximity of the 2 Switches have to be near each other. So you can't have a family member far away on the same family account that wants to borrow a game. And then you can only borrow in 2-week increments. Every 14 days, the game gets returned back to its owner, the primary. I get it. They don't want one account, like kind of like password sharing with Netflix and Hulu and Disney. Who else does password sharing? A lot of sites, whether or not they care about it too much yet, who's to say? But they don't want one Nintendo account loaded up with a bunch of games and then like 50 people or a bunch of people downloading and playing off of that, which I guess is fair, but also, I don't know, as someone with relatives with Switches, but none of us have like the online, that's kind of our barrier. And we'll see a bunch of stuff in this Direct, which is trying to promote their online service. The game chat, I believe, was exclusively locked to if you had the Nintendo Switch Online. Game share is only if you have the Nintendo Switch Online, the family plan, really. And then we kind of meet the 3 head developers of the actual hardware. The actual guys themselves that design the Switch, they kind of go over some of the features. And there's an introductory game called the Welcome Tour. And it's basically a tech demo, which isn't new for Nintendo or the games industry. Lately, like with the PS5, there was the Astro Boy's Playroom, which got you familiar with the PS5's controller, really. All the different things it can do, the haptic feedback in the triggers, the vibrations, the touchpad. It was built around it. They've done it. Nintendo's done it before. Did my voice crack? Nintendo's done it before, where the Nintendo Wii, that came with Wii Sports, which was a huge hit, huge sensation, because that way, right out of the box, you could get a game and have something to play with as a family. It wasn't something that one or two people could play and everyone else was. It was a family game. I remember as a kid getting it on Christmas Day one year, and we opened up and we had the grandparents over and we did the bowling. We got the Wii bowling out, and that was a fun time as a family. That was a core childhood memory. But this Welcome Tour game is a paid game. It's only $10, but it's still a paid game. I know there was the Nintendo 1-2 Switch, which was featuring like the HD Rumble and the Joy-Cons, which surprisingly they didn't talk about in this Direct. Wondering if they kept that functionality or if they're just not using it as much. It wasn't a popular feature. But paying for a tech demo, which I'm sure the Welcome Tour, I don't know how many hours you'll be able to get out of that, but I feel like Nintendo is just getting a little full of themselves. Why charge $10 on something that historically has been included with the system and other competitors like Sony include with their system? Now, when it comes out, and if it's revealed that there's a ton of value to it, I could be persuaded. I could change my mind if there's more to it than what meets the eye. But for what we saw in this Direct, it looks like a tech demo like we've seen historically in the past. We get a release date. I'm just going through in order of the Direct that I took my notes in. We get a release date of June 5th, 2025. So in 2 months from now, you could be playing your very own Nintendo Switch 2 if you are able to get your hands on one. Coming up. Then they talked about how there's going to be different types of games. So you'll be able to play Nintendo Switch 1 games. They'll be able to play Nintendo Switch 2 games. And then they'll also be able to play Nintendo Switch 2 edition games. And that's where Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom come into this Direct. They show 60 frames per second, 4K docked footage of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch 2. And they're also offering it as an upgrade. So if you already own Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, you can just purchase the upgrade at a significantly cheaper price. It's like $10, $20 to upgrade a game to the Switch 2 edition. And that doesn't necessarily, and that's not going to include the DLC, it sounds like, for Breath of the Wild. You'll have to rebuy the DLC for the Switch 2 Breath of the Wild. I know it's a lot, but it does look good. I'll give it that. It kind of cleans up the graphics, but it doesn't overhaul the game. And the Breath of the Wild still looks great for being a 8-year-old game at this point. Tears of the Kingdom wasn't too long ago. I guess it's just a way to bring Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom onto the new hardware and show what the new hardware is capable of, which I'm okay with. Because then they show some other games coming up that really showcase how powerful this new Switch is. They got Elden Ring, a From Software game, to run on it, so to see it on a handheld, you'll be able to play Elden Ring in a handheld mode. That'll be just as appealing as when I saw Skyrim on the Switch. Mobile Skyrim is the best for me. I love, when it comes to like handheld mode, Skyrim is probably the game I do. And now people are going to be able to play Elden Ring on the go. I know that was a big appeal for the Steam Deck. We also got Hogwarts Legacy, the big open world Harry Potter game, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, some untitled James Bond 007 project, and then we get another Zelda drop. Tears of the Kingdom Warriors, as what people will refer to it as, or Age of Imprisonment, but it's a Hyrule Warriors game, the third Hyrule Warriors game, and this is going to take place in the events of the past from Tears of the Kingdom, where Zelda goes, where she meets up with Sonia and Rauru, and it's going to be the imprisoning war, following our characters and how do they seal Ganondorf away, and all of the activities that happen with the sages from there. I'm hoping we get more character with the sages. The sages aren't really, we don't get too much with them in Tears of the Kingdom. They're wearing masks and they don't even have specific names or personalities. They're just kind of a generic model for whatever race they're representing. Goron, Rito, Zora. But I enjoyed Age of Calamity, and I enjoyed Hyrule Warriors, the definitive edition on the Switch. Is a fun game just to kind of plow through and explore all the different options, not take things too canon seriously. Like the introduction of Linkle. I love the idea of what if Linkle was, I don't know. The introduction of Linkle and some other characters, some of the humor they have with it. Sia, and it's a little tough if you don't pay attention and learn the mechanics. Doing the main quest line can be a little challenging. There's been several times I had long missions and I failed the mission because I let a base fall to the enemy. Age of Calamity was a little more forgiving, and there's something about it just watching Link swing his sword at a bunch of enemies and seeing them go flying. I know it's a little different than the traditional Zelda gameplay, but it's kind of fun to see 1 versus 100 kind of battles. And then when Link got in the Divine Beast and you're in the hundreds and thousands of numbers, that just felt good. The next point is another selling point for the Nintendo Switch Online, and they're promoting their expansion. So it's the Nintendo Switch Online with expansion, but they're adding a GameCube emulator. So you'll be able to play old GameCube, some certain GameCube games on your Nintendo Switch 2 online with the expansion. The big one that they showcase is good old Wind Waker. That's going to be the original version of Wind Waker. It's not going to be the HD version, which I know people have been clamoring for. I'm fine with the OG Wind Waker. It's a strong game. I think so. It just gets, there's one point after you do the first 4 dungeons. Even the earth and the air temples are a little kind of a drag for me. But after that, when you have to do the Triforce quest, having to pay to decipher the maps and basically forcing you to explore every island almost, that got a little long, and that's what's going to be in this version. I know in the HD version, they kind of tweaked it so you didn't have to get the map, bring it to Tingle, decipher it, and then go retrieve the Triforce piece. But this will be the OG version. Makes me wonder if they'll bring the Twilight Princess version onto the GameCube, since it was technically developed on the GameCube, and they just kind of put it on the Wii to help promote sales of the Wii. Unsponsored plug. No sponsors for this show yet. But Chugga Conroy, great Let's Player on YouTube. He's doing a run through of Twilight Princess right now. Got his series. I enjoy watching him. Kind of fun to see those old Zelda games and learn some fun facts about them as he plays them that one doesn't necessarily think about. We get some more partner showcases. We get some other games from other developers. We get Cyberpunk 2077. There's a glitch in the live stream for one of the other independently made games, which lasts a substantial while. There's one or two games that actually didn't get to footage because of the way the live stream glitched and froze up. You only get their audio. There was a reel of other partners, and everyone's been clamoring for that Silk song, and they even said 2025. So that'll mean this year we'll be getting Silk song. I played Hollow Knight. It was fun. The way the platforming felt in Hollow Knight was so dialed in the way where it just felt good to play as the Hollow Knight. The platforming in that game was exceptional. Kind of like the same way I feel with Mario Odyssey. The way Mario feels running around doing his acrobatics, jumping and sliding, the physics. I know it's a subtle thing, but it makes a big difference when it comes to platforming games. And I really appreciate how Hollow Knight did it, and I'm excited to see how they expand on it in Silk Song. Was not expecting to see a From Software logo. The Dusk Bloods is showcased as like the last third-party game for the Direct. To be honest, Elden Ring was the only From Software game I've played, and there is a learning curve, and it is a lot of timing perfect instances. The only way I was able to get through it was really grinding and trying to level up to get powered to at least stand a chance against some of the bosses, which I guess is like the desired experience, unless you're just really good at timing and combos. And I probably wasn't min-maxing my build properly either. So I guess some of that's on user error as well. We get a new Kirby Air Ride, which is looking exciting, with Sakurai attached. And then their big closer, the big one more thing, our final reveal. Are we getting a 3D Mario? No. Donkey Kong is getting his own game. Donkey Kong Bonanza, which kind of looks like a spiritual successor to Odyssey, except instead of Mario, it's Donkey Kong. It looks like Mario's big tentpole game of this next holiday season, and there's bound to be more that comes with it. Then Nintendo kind of directs, says their own website. The Nintendo Switch 2 website is going live, and check out more details there, because on this nice, flashy advertising, marketing, direct video, they don't want to show price in the nitty gritty. So you go to their site, and how much is the Switch 2? Within the wheelhouse of what economists were projecting, around that $450 price tag. If you get the bundle with Mario Kart World, that'll be $500, 100 buckaroos, which is pretty steep. Pretty steep for a family game system. I guess it depends on your background, and everyone values the dollar differently. But I feel like for a lot of Americans, $500 or $450 but it doesn't come with any games. So now, for games, you're basically looking at $500 for a family game system. Is pretty steep. It'll last. It'll last for a couple years. It'll probably provide a ton of hours of entertainment. And if I had a family at this point, I would definitely get it. As the Nintendo fanboy with disposable income I am, but with getting a PS5 2 years ago and rocking the Switch just fine for now, I think I'm personally going to hold off until we get the next flagpole Zelda release, which isn't going to be for a while. Gives me time to plan ahead and do it responsibly instead of just reallocating everything just for the game system. Plus, I'm getting in a phase where I want to enjoy my summers more, and I know if I got it this summer, that would really be antithetical to what I'm trying to do. Pre-orders went live around the world, except for the United States. There's some tariff programs or tariff things going on with the United States, with the way that the president's interacting with different countries. This isn't politics, but it is impacting Nintendo's decision to cancel or to postpone pre-orders in the United States for now. And they will come out with their new game plan when they do. That's all I'm going to say about that. The hype has been real. The cries of people asking Nintendo to lower the price are real during the Treehouse live streams they had and some of the other live streams they had following the Direct. The YouTube chat is just full of people spamming lower the price. But I think Nintendo knows they have a product at this point that will sell. And unfortunately, they know they're going to get sales. They know they can get away with it. We'll see how well it actually goes once the dollars start flowing. But I guess there'll be more to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 to come. But I didn't want to just shoehorn that in on a movie episode. I just wanted to kind of have my own take on it. Not going to edit a ton of stuff with this, so sorry if you can hear the dog in the background. We just went on a walk, though, so the dog is sleeping right next to me. She's a good girl. She's just a little puppy. Don't know if I've said it on a podcast before, but our dog is named Navi from Ocarina of Time, our little fairy dog. Another podcast relevant story is the window's kind of passed, if you want to see it. Some theaters are still playing it, but they've recently remastered and they released Princess Mononoke in IMAX. I saw it that first weekend 2 weeks ago. It was like a Saturday night. It was a sold out IMAX, which was very reassuring to know that a 27-year-old movie still draws a big crowd to the movie theaters. There's something about the movie theater experience, the popcorn, the big screen, the sound system. I know you can try to replicate it at home, but it's not the same. I love the magic of the movies. Every theater in the area, I have a little rewards program for trying to get deals. I don't know if I have a favorite chain of theaters at this point, but I do like the IMAX format. When I see movies are filmed for IMAX, that gets me a little excited. I saw the Dune movies on IMAX. That was great. Princess Mononoke on IMAX was great. Being able to see the story on the big screen. And I'll be honest, when I picked the show times, I don't even think we talked about it in our Princess Mononoke episode. But I've seen both the sub and the dub, the Japanese or the English version. And I didn't even know what version I signed up for. I just chose a 7 o'clock showtime on a Saturday night. The showtime I chose was an English version. And I didn't know that going in. But the Japanese version started playing, and several people got up and they went out to the lobby. So we're already like 5 minutes into the movie, and they cut off the movie. And then we're in pitch black because they cut off the movie while the lights were dimmed. They turned the lights on a little just to let people know that if people wanted to get up and move around. But then they put on the right movie. They put on the English dub, which I guess was the correct one for the time. But it was great to be in the theater. A bunch of people laughing, especially like at the women in Irontown when they make a little quip, a little laugh line. That was fun to do. I also saw Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter, named after Princess Zelda. She's a big component of anti-AI. And I think we can agree that AI shouldn't replace artists, the human creative spirit. AI is good at other tasks. The way it can handle massive data sets and look for trends and parse through it in a responsible manner is beneficial. But the artwork side is dicey to me, especially in the sense where they have to train it with other artists' data. They have to basically input it, copyrighted art, and it learns from that. And basically it creates its own generated art by mimicking the copyrighted art. That's the part where it feels wrong. And there was an update recently where people can insert a footage or insert a picture, like a meme, and they can ask the AI to make it Studio Ghibli style. So you're getting a bunch of Studio Ghibli styled memes on the internet, and Mr. Miyazaki has been open in the past about his dislike of AI, the way it hurts the artists. And this is something we're going to have to figure out. And I'm curious to see how it's handled in future projects. I'm glad the gaming industry is kind of a wild west right now. I believe Steam requires developers to check a little box saying if it includes AI generated content. But yeah, Zelda Williams, the reason I brought her up was she made a statement talking about how if you really like Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki and you really support the artists, instead of just copying the art style through AI and Chat GPT or whatever AI they're using for these images, she was promoting the movie. She said there was the restoration, the 4K version, the IMAX version of Princess Mononoke was out. Go to the theaters. That was another good reason to go. It was great. I also saw the Minecraft movie, or it's not the Minecraft movie. It's a Minecraft movie. A Minecraft movie. It was fun. I probably don't understand all the inside jokes. I know there's a lot of content in there geared towards like YouTube and Twitch streamers and content creators, since the Minecraft community is so huge and social. And I like how it's a standalone story, and if they make more by saying a Minecraft movie, it means they don't have to reuse any of like the story threads. I believe everything could be independent from each other. It had some good parts, some parts that got long. It was a basic hero's journey, kids movie, believe in yourself kind of thing. Not super out of the box. And then I saw 2 other movies in the last couple weeks. I know I'm going to be watching Venom here for the main series I'm doing right now. But I also saw Mortal Engines and Godzilla -1. Great movies. I'll be covering those ones down the road. Trying to keep some themes right now as a podcast with my movies. Also trying to balance life, activity, family, all that good jazz. I know my last episode was late, so this little bonus episode I hope makes up for it. If you want to reach out, email me at ZeldaFilmcast@gmail.com, or I've been trying to be a little more social on X, ZeldaFilmcast on X. Or maybe I'll create a blue sky and check that out. See where people are at that we can interact with. There's also links in the show notes. Check those out. But until next time, still, let the Triforce be with you.